Welcome back to Untested Builds, where we make your favorite pop culture characters for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Like and subscribe so the algorithm lets you know when I post a new video, comment below to suggest characters you want to see, and join the Patreon to vote for your favorite suggestions. Today, thanks to a weird scheduling quirk and poll results, we're building a DC character for the second week in a row. When I started my channel, I figured Wonder Woman 1984 would have been out by the time we got around to building Princess Diana, but lo and behold, the damn movie still isn't out yet. But that's okay. Wonder Woman has decades of representation across several different types of media, and we do still have 3 DCAU appearances to pull footage from, so here we go. For our goals for this build, first we need to embrace the Amazon in us all. These immortal warrior philosophers train diligently in a variety of weapons and fighting style to push beyond the usual limits of us common mortals. Second, Diana isn't just any Amazon. Depending on what backstory you subscribe to, she's either a demigod from Athena as her second mother, or she's a half Olympian because Zeus is her father. Regardless, her demigod status enhances her Amazonian abilities even further. She also receives powers directly from the gods. In addition to flight and the whole lasso thing, she's also got energy manipulation and a bit of telepathy. In the DC universe, Amazons are basically humans but better, and in Pathfinder, human PCs are basically humans but better. Human Aasimar gain 2 free ability boosts. We'll take in strength and dexterity. We also get low light vision, which is probably helpful if Zack Snyder does your cinematography. We'll take the warrior background for boosted strength and wisdom. We also get training in intimidation and warfare lore, along with the intimidating glare feat for free, so we can demoralize a target as a visual action instead of an auditory one. We'll take the celestial lore ancestry feat. Diana may not have been raised by the gods directly, but her fellow Amazons made sure she knew what was up. This gives us training in diplomacy and religion and the lore skill for the celestial realm of our choice. We're going monk here because we need a martial class, obviously, but we also want a casting modifier that scales with us without investing too many feats. We get a free boost to strength and get flurry of blows, allowing us to make 2 unarmed strikes in a single action. Our multi-attack penalty does apply to both strikes, but if both strikes hit the same target, we add the damage for overcoming resistances. Powerful Fist increases our unarmed fist attacks from D4s to D6s, and we no longer take the penalty for attempting a lethal attack. We'll grab the monastic weaponry class feat, so our monk weapon proficiency increases as our unarmed strike proficiency increases. Diana and the rest of the Amazons use weapons just as well as their fists. With this, we can use our monk feats that reference unarmed strikes with monk weapons too. We'll take skill training for acrobatics, athletics, nature, and society, and use our ability boost for strength, dexterity, constitution, and wisdom. At level 2, we'll pick up the Titan Wrestler feat. Doomsday was a big guy, and Steppenwolf was downright huge, but that didn't stop us from holding our own. Now we can grapple, disarm, shove, or trip creatures up to 2 sizes larger than us. Key Strike opens up our focus pool for divine key spells. We put a bit of extra oomph into a strike or flurry of blows to gain a +1 status bonus to our attack and an extra d6 of force, lawful, negative, or positive damage. Level 3 monks gain incredible movement for a +10 status bonus to speed while we're unarmed, which will be all the time obviously. This bonus increases by 5 feet for every 4th level we gain after the 3rd. Mystic Strikes makes our unarmed strikes magical for the purposes of overcoming resistances. We'll take a skill increase for expert athletics. The shield block feat allows us to use our shield block reaction while we have our shield raised. Did I mention we're using shields in this build too? We can negate an amount of incoming damage equal to the shield's hardness as a reaction, but at the risk of damaging our shield. The catfall feat helps us nail those hero landings by allowing us to ignore an amount of fall distance depending on our acrobatics proficiency. 10 feet if we're trained, 25 if we're an expert, 50 feet if we're a master, and we no longer take fall damage at legendary. We get some Amazonian vitality with the wholeness of body key spell to either regain 8 hit points or attempt to counteract a poison or a disease that is afflicting us. Level 5 monks gain expert strikes to increase our proficiency with unarmed strikes and monk weapons to expert. Alertness increases our perception to expert as well. We use our skill increase for expert acrobatics. The celestial resistance ancestry feat allows us to choose the damage type and gain resistance 5 to it permanently. I'm going electricity here since Zeus is our dad, but any choice will be in character. Strength, dexterity, constitution, and charisma for our ability score improvements. The quick jump feat lets us make a long jump or high jump in 1 action instead of 2, and we no longer fail automatically for not striding before our attempt. The key blast spell lets us do that thing Diana did when she banged her gauntlets together. We force creatures in a cone to take a fortitude save and take an amount of damage and potentially be knocked back. The range and amount of damage we deal increases based on the number of actions we spend to use this. Level 7 monks gain weapon specialization for an additional 2 damage with our unarmed strikes and monk weapons since we are expert proficiency. We choose a path to perfection, allowing us to become a master in a save of our choice. We'll go reflex save since that's what characters deal with most often, but really any save is in character since Wonder Woman is another one of those characters that's basically good at everything. We'll take our skill increase from Master Athletics and take the Die Hard feat so we die at dying 5 rather than dying 4. Deflect arrows lets us gain a +4 circumstance bonus to our AC as a reaction to an incoming physical range attack. The only issue is that we need a free hand to do so. Now, I don't know about your games, but broken shields come up a lot more often in my games than I think is realistic, but it happens. Feel free to take something else here, but Wonder Woman doesn't get hit often, shield or no shield. Hippolyta taught her daughter everything she knew about the world of man outside their island. Of course, that was based on experience from 3,000 years ago. The dubious knowledge feat lets us gain a bit of info even if we fail a recon knowledge check. The issue is that it also comes with a bit of erroneous information and we aren't able to tell what is true. Level 9 monks gain monk expertise to increase our class DC and key spell proficiency to expert. Metal strikes allows our unarmed attacks to be treated as cold iron or silver for more damage against supernatural creatures. We'll use our skill increase for master acrobatics, and we'll take the multi-talented ancestry feat to bring some more of the divines to our side with the cleric dedication. This gives us training in 2 skills of our choice in addition to allowing us to prepare 2 divine cantrips. Guidance gives a target a +1 status bonus to an attack roll, perception check, or saving throw until the start of our next turn. Then they become immune for an hour. Divine Lance is a spell attack that deals 5d4 plus our wisdom modifier of our choice of chaotic, evil, good, or lawful damage to a target depending on our deity. The Wind Jump key spell gives us that ubiquitous superhero ability, Flight. Sorry, Batman. We gain a fly speed equal to our speed, which is like 40 feet now for a minute. The only stipulation is that we have to end our turn on solid ground. We'll take Aerobatics Mastery so we can gain a +2 circumstance bonus to maneuver and flight checks and perform up to 2 such maneuvers in a single action, provided we pass an Acrobatics DC check equal to the most difficult maneuver +5. Diana literally rides the lightning, and your petty maneuvers mean nothing to her. We'll take the same ability boost as last time. Consistency is the key to growth, they say. But if consistency doesn't get the algorithm to pick the channel up, I know I'll be able to count on the generosity of our patrons to support the channel. We've gotten 2 new patrons this month. Welcome Adrian and Michael. And a huge thank you to our alpha testers, Decaffeinate and Michelle, for putting the team on your back for yet another month. If you like the content we're putting out and want to see your name here as well as gain other rewards, consider joining the Patreon as well. Link is in the description. Level 11 monks gain a second path to perfection, meaning we can choose another save to become a master proficiency in. We'll get more Amazonian tenacity with master will saves. We also get a skill increase for expert diplomacy. I know we aren't investing too much into charisma, but we can't really be great at everything. The numb to death feat lets us regain an amount of HP equal to our level and ignore gaining a wound or increasing our wounded condition when we recover from dying once per day. At level 12, our wind jump gets a lot better. Now we can make a DC 30 acrobatics check to stay in the air at the end of our turns to maintain flight for a full duration of the spell. We don't want to leave that to chance though, so we'll take assurance in our acrobatic skill. Now we can choose to forego the die roll for any acrobatic skill check in favor of a +10 proficiency bonus instead, meaning we don't have to worry about any acrobatics DC less than 32 now. Meditative focus allows us to regain up to 2 focus points during our refocus action, provided we spent at least 2 points since our last refocus for more flying, healing, and blasting. Level 13 monks gain master strikes for master proficiency in unarmed attacks and monk weapons thanks to monastic weaponry. The graceful mastery improves our unarmored defense to master as well. We use our skill increase for expert intimidation. The stubborn persistence ancestry feat gives us another taste of that Amazonian vitality or Olympian endurance. Take your pick. Now, if we will become fatigued, we can attempt a flat DC 17 check to not gain the fatigued condition. This does not get rid of the underlying causes of fatigue, and we might have to pass the check again at a later time as determined by our GM. At level 14, we get our functional immortality with Timeless Body. We cease aging and gain a +2 status bonus to saving throws against diseases, poisons, as well as resistance to those types of damage equal to half our level. Intimidating Prowess lets our strength subsidize our lack of charisma by giving us a +1 circumstance bonus to our coerce or demoralize action since our strength is over 20. Level 15 monks gain greater weapon specialization to increase the flat damage from weapon specialization from 3 to 6 since we're currently master in unarmed strikes and monk weapons. We also get our third path to perfection. We choose one of the options we took for our first or second path to perfection, and we raise that save up to legendary. We're sticking with reflex saves here. Barry may be faster than us, but we're still knocking bullets out of the air on a regular basis. Not that getting hit would be the end of the fight for us anyway. The toughness feat gives us an additional max HP equal to our level and reduces the DC of our recovery from dying checks to 9 plus our dying condition value. For our skill increase, we'll grab legendary athletics and increase our strength, dexterity, constitution, and wisdom. Most heroes either jump good or fly good. Some do both exceedingly well. A cloud jump feat allows us to use our long jump calculation when attempting a high jump and triples our long jump distance. This is basically like a single action fly, so you don't always have to waste a focus point if you don't need a full minute of flight. Okay, and now it's time to address the elephant in the room, the lasso. Basic cleric spell casting gives us a first, second, and third level spell slot for divine spells. Common misconception is that the lasso only makes those bound within tell the truth, but it actually compels whoever is in it to perform whatever the user demands unless they have a particularly strong will. Hey, that sounds familiar. Command forces a will save on a target, allowing you to force it to do a simple action from a short list on a failure. Gonna be hard to give an order if the listener doesn't understand though. Comprehend language allows a target to understand a language that is being spoken to them for an hour. Zone of Truth is why we're really here though. Creatures in a 30-foot burst make a will save, and based on the result, they take a penalty to deception checks and potentially become incapable of telling any deliberate lies. Not the most rope-friendly spell for your suspension of disbelief, but sometimes we're just better than the source material. Level 17 monks are graceful legends for legendary unarmored defense, master class DC, and master divine casting proficiency. We also gain adamantine strikes to have our unarmed strikes treated as adamantine to ignore resistance to non-adamantine weapons. We'll use our skill increase for legendary acrobatics. The heroic presence ancestry feat gives us a truly Oscar-worthy scene by giving us the effects of zealous conviction on up to 10 willing creatures within 30 feet. They all get 12 temporary HP and a +2 status bonus to will saves against mental effects. The effects end immediately, however, if you give them an order that they would not normally agree to. We'll pick up the Kip Up feat so we can stand from prone as a free action without triggering reactions. Meditative Wellspring allows us to regain 3 focus points when we refocus, provided we have spent at least 3 points since we last refocused. Level 19 monks gain Perfected Form, meaning the lowest we can roll on our first strike of the turn is a 10, no matter what the actual die result was. We also get a skill increase that we'll use for Master Intimidation. The Uncanny Acumen feat basically gives us another path to perfection, allowing us to choose a save, and since we're over level 10, we become a master in that save. We're going with Fortitude saves here because I lied when I said we couldn't be good at everything. At level 20, we'll get Battlecry to intimidate as a free action when we roll initiative. Not sure what Diana will say charging into the fray, but I'm sure it will be equal parts inspiring and terrifying. For our capstone feat, Endurance of the Rooted Tree removes our requirement for food and drink or breathing. We also are now able to cast our Wholeness of Body key spell as a free action at the start of our turns. That's 72 health as a free action we can do 3 times every battle. Now that we're level 20, let's go over the pros and cons of the build. For starters, monks with shields are awesome. Legendary unarmored defense, while being able to raise our shield means we aren't getting hit basically ever without sacrificing any damage. And even if we do get hit, we can just regain that HP back for a focus point. We also aren't getting hit by many spells either. With at least a +30 in all 3 saves, I can only hope I can make Superman as impregnable. The main drawback of shields and weapons is that they can be broken or disarmed. We never have to worry about either since a free hand just makes us more dangerous. A free hand opens up grappling with our max strength mod and even more AC against ranged attacks. For cons, we're pretty heavily focused on combat. Monks don't really use intelligence or charisma, so unless the subject is war or the gods, we don't really have much to talk about. Low social skill usually means low income too, and while we don't need much, we still want to be able to upgrade our shield and sword to keep up with the rich guy on the team. Thanks for watching. If you're still here, be sure to subscribe and tap the bell to be notified when we post. Right now you can join the Patreon to vote for either Kerrigan from StarCraft, Sayaka Miki from Madoka Magica, Roy Mustang from Fullmetal Alchemist, or Asta from Black Clover.